Welcome to another episode of the Freshman Podcast. Today we got to talk about the Bucks and Brooklyn series, long awaited. You know we had the series, but let's start off with Game 1. Game 1, we had Brooklyn matching up with the Bucks in Brooklyn. Brooklyn had home court advantage for the series. Game 1, 115 Brooklyn, 107 Milwaukee. Giannis put up 34 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Kevin Durant, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Kyrie Irving, 25 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. I don't think Giannis got much help from his co-stars. How do you feel about that in Game 1?
No, they shot the ball horribly. Him, he had basically the weight on his shoulders in that first game. Drew didn't shoot good at all. Middleton didn't shoot good at all. So it's like you already got Giannis who can't really shoot at all. And your shooters around you is not hitting shots. So it's going to be hard for you to carry that whole load by himself. But yeah, they had a horrible showing in the first game. Horrible.
Yeah. And I think this may have been the only game that we saw Joe Harris show up in. It went downhill from that.
And Blake Griffin.
No, Blake Griffin had some more games. He had some more games where he played pretty well. Game 2, back in Brooklyn. Brooklyn 125, Milwaukee 86. Now, this was definitely a different game compared to Game 1. Very much more so lopsided in the Nets' favor. Giannis finished the game with 18 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Chris Middleton, 17 points, 5 rebounds. Kevin Durant, 32 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Kyrie Irving, 23 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Yeah, Nets took care of home court advantage in the first 2 games. And then we moved to Milwaukee for Games 3 and 4. Game 3, it was a slugfest, but it was really 3. Giannis finished the game with 33 points, 14 rebounds, double-double for him. I think the breakout of this game was Chris Middleton, 35 points, 15 rebounds. I think you may have said in the first 2 games Giannis didn't have any help. I think he more pulled his weight this game. Kyrie Irving finished the game with 22 points, 5 rebounds. Kevin Durant finished the game with 30 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Me personally, got to give my boy a little bit of credit for that Game 3 performance. I've been saying this for years. Him and Anthony Davis, both KD and AD, I feel like they should average a double-double. I think there's no reason you should be almost 7 feet and not able to grab 10 rebounds in a game. Now, yes, I guess they are 2 different players in a sense, but I think AD definitely does play a lot more close to the basket than Kevin Durant does. And yes, they're asked to do different things, but at that height, you should always average at least 10 rebounds, 10 or 9 rebounds a game.
Especially with the bigs nowadays, everybody step out and shoot threes. Like Lopez didn't even think about going down into the paint this whole entire series. Like,
Yeah.
got people like Porzingis standing out at the 3-point line, so it's like it's not really no bigs down there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they can definitely average that.
Now, Game 4, I think for sure is the turning point of this series. Milwaukee took care of business again, 107-96. Now, in the midst of all of the action, Kyrie Irving got hurt. He sprained his ankle on a layup. Now, I'm not going to slander Giannis' name, but that foot, in my opinion, shouldn't have been there. Because I remember a few years back, people were telling me about Zaza Pachulia on Kawhi Leonard, how that flipped the series, this, that, and the third. But you know what? Neither here nor there. But I feel like that play could have been avoided, if you ask me.
It could have. That's probably going to be something they're going to talk about next year. But it's like,
It was a bucket already, fam.
That is true. It was a bucket. He did score the bucket, so it really wasn't no need to like box out at that. But I mean, take him out. I'm just saying.
Now
man.
he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Okay. Kevin Durant finished the game with 28 points, 13 rebounds. Like I said, I feel like at that height, he should always average double-double. We know he's going to get the points for you every night unless he's injured or something, but the rebounds, I think, should be another aspect of his game, as well as with the assists. I don't think he necessarily needs to get 10 assists, but I feel like those are aspects of his game that will help unlock the court for his team if he's out there rebounding and playmaking. Kyrie Irving, like I said, he left the game with an ankle injury, so he only had 11 points, 5 rebounds. Giannis had 34 points, 12 rebounds. Middleton, 19 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. So basically, through 4, both teams took care of home court advantage. 2-2, so now we're looking at the best of 3. And I think Game 5 was a historic game. It was really one of those games like you really had to bring it. It was a nut check moment. We seen Harden return. I don't know if that was James Harden. I feel like that was Hames. That was Hames Harden. Jordan. I don't know. I think he was trying to just maybe boost team morale, or I guess
decoy.
Yeah.
That's a decoy. Literally.
That didn't look like him out there. It was bad. I think for sure this was probably, and I didn't fact check it, but this was probably the least amount of points Harden has scored probably since his rookie year. Well, he didn't start his rookie year, but since being a starter in years, like the least amount of points. He finished the game with 5 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. I think after the injury to Kyrie Irving, the Nets kind of rallied around each other and knew that they had to bring it. They couldn't really make any excuses. Just come out and hoop. And I think Kevin Durant embodied that. Historic night for him. 49 points, 10 assists, 17 rebounds. And the man played the whole game. He didn't sit down not once. I mean, maybe during like the TV, commercial and all, everybody sits down. But as far as like substitutions coming out of the game, he played every single minute to get the win. And I also had to give a shout out to Jeff Green. He really balled. 27 points, 3 assists, but I think which was a really slept on stat line from that game because obviously overshadowed by KD's performance. He was 7 of 8 from the 3-point line. Only missed 1 3-pointer, so he was money on the kick out. So salute to him for that.
That's when I knew he was good. He had it.
Giannis, 34 points and 5 assists. Now I gotta put you on the hot seat, yeah. We always talk about this whole competitive nature thing, and I feel at times you hold Kevin Durant to this standard. Now, let me ask you this, Giannis. You see Kevin Durant going crazy. Let me just interest you in this stat line real quick, and I just want to hear your response. Let me get it off real quick. For Kevin Durant's historic performance, I'm going to give you guys the players who guarded him and the number of possessions they guarded him. Okay, PJ Tucker was his primary defender. He guarded Kevin Durant for 21 possessions during the game. Chris Middleton guarded Kevin Durant for 14 possessions during the game. Brook Lopez, 3 possessions during the game. Pat Connaughton, 2 possessions. Giannis, 0. How are you all defensive team and you see a man going for 49? Is it 49 or 48? 48. Oh, 49.
We got 49.
Going for 49 points and you don't say, hey coach, let me guard him. But you're all team defense, and I think you don't win Defensive Player of the Year this season, but in the past you have. I'm just curious.
Let's go to the next game. He guarded him the next game. He guarded him the next game. It's all right. He made it back for the next game.
I'm not trying to hit.
But granted, yes, I do agree with you in that fact that he should have been guarding him.
We had this same kind of.
He should have been guarding.
We had this same kind of knock on him about the Heat series last season. And Jimmy Butler, no offense, no shade to you, Jimmy Butler. I think you're a good player now, but it's levels to this. You won't guard Jimmy Butler, and now you won't guard Kevin Durant.
He guarded him this year. He locked him up.
Jimmy Butler, well, again, it's levels to this.
In the first series.
It's levels to this.
We building our way up to that. You know what I'm saying? He guarded him the next game. Next game we did.
No, he still wasn't the primary defender. PJ Tucker was still the primary defender, I think, until he fouled out or something like that. I don't know. But, yeah, I feel like at that time, if you're a Defensive Player of the Year and you see somebody going off, I'm tired of hearing about if my coach want me to guard him this and that. No. You break The defensive assignments coach let me guard him. Period.
Did KD guard him?
Defensive player of the all-team defense. They didn't even get my man's All-NBA this year. Nothing. He was on none of the teams at all. Your man was All-NBA, All-NBA defense, and I think he came in second and third for Defensive Player of the Year. Is this your Defensive Player of the Year? All right, cool. Moving on. Game 6, Milwaukee stormed back, 104-89. Chris Middleton, hey, man. This man sitting next to me, I think he got to put a lot more respect on your name after this series. From a supposed not a real all-star to putting up 38 and 10 in a playoff game, yeah, I think he owes you a little bit more respect. And Giannis chipped in 30 points, 17 rebounds. Harden had a much better show in this game. Still not himself. 16 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. After that third performance, I think KD tried, but still, like, I don't think he had it all. 32 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. So, now, Game 7. All chips on the table. Win or go home. Another historic night for Kevin Durant. 48 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Most points scored in a Game 7 in NBA history. I think during the playoffs. In a Game 7 closeout game in the playoffs. Harden chipped in 22, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. Near triple-double for Harden. Still not looking like himself, but a much better contribution than the previous 2 games. So, salute to him for that. Giannis finished the game with 40 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. And Chris Middleton had 27. I think he had 27, or maybe that's 23. 23 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. And Milwaukee wound up coming with the victory, 115 to Brooklyn's 111 in overtime. Kevin Durant forced overtime. When I say if he were a half a size smaller, it was game in regulation. But that foot was just on the line. That forced overtime. But still, a hell of a game from him. It just seemed like during the overtime, he couldn't get a shot, and nobody else on the Nets could really just score. Like, I think this is probably the worst series we've seen from Joe Harris in a while. Couldn't buy a 3, and he had open looks.
KD went for 3 on Giannis, and OT just wanted to throw that out there.
I just said he couldn't buy a bucket in overtime.
Nah, I just wanted to.
So Giannis guarded him the whole overtime?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No.
Okay. So,
Not at all.
So imagine somebody guarding somebody 24 possessions and you're celebrating 3. But all right, cool, man, I get it. Overall, gotta salute to the Milwaukee Bucks. They came to a hostile environment and they put out a victory on the road. So how do you feel about the Bucks' chances moving forward? Is it championship or bust?
It's definitely championship or bust. I mean, well, that should have been thought from the beginning of the season with all the playoff runs that they done had.
I don't think anybody had them.
That should stuff like that, so that should have been that. But now it's like there's nobody ahead of you. You got Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
The West is up in the air depending on Kawhi and then CP3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm not saying that it's probably going to be a cakewalk because it is the NBA, but this is your best opportunity to take the championship right now. But I don't need Chris Middleton shooting 38% for the whole series. He's my shooter. He's shooting 38% from the field and 36 from three-point line. So what praise should I give him besides that one game he had?
Bro, I just listed like 2 games where he had 30 plus.
Look at his field goal percentage. I can say the same thing about a couple of series, but I mean, he come through, but it's like he averaged 30, 35 at home and 19 on the road.
I think the standards you hold other people to, besides the people the standards you hold other players to, besides the players that you love, it's not realistic. Like, everybody's not gonna be Kevin Durant, yeah. I'm sorry. He's not going to go out there and give you 50, 40, 90, okay?
I don't want 50 from Chris Middleton.
No, I'm saying as far as percentage-wise. that high as far as field goal and 3-point percentage. You know what I mean? I don't think we ever championed Chris Middleton on being a super efficient player. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, I think the person who you should take fault with is for sure Jrue Holiday.
He had a bad series.
All the stuff y'all gave away for him
Definitely had a bad series.
versus the stuff that was getting away for Chris Paul. Man, y'all got robbed. Powerway robbery.
I think the best game he had was that game-winning layup on Brown. What was that, game 3?
Okay.
Game 3?
Yeah, game three, yeah.
That was it. I mean, they came through clutch in the fourth, game 7, but before that, they was struggling horribly. Him and Middleton, but we'll see what happens next series, man. But I'm just glad we got them boys out of there. You know what? Sent them where they need to be.
I just wanted to ask one question and answer honestly. Who was the best player in that series? No, say it a little louder. They couldn't hear you. We heard you say you sent them home, but we want to hear you say it a little bit louder.
You know, KD did his thing. This helped KD legacy more than anything, I guess. With Harden being hurt and Kyrie being out, he carried the team. You know, he carried the team. Now, can he do that? You know, futuristically down the line, I don't think so, but he doesn't need to.
I will hope he doesn't have to go through this again. Yeah. But I appreciate him have to remind y'all that he's like that. What he say? I'm Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
He have to remind y'all. I appreciate that. I appreciate the honesty too.
We gonna respect Giannis though this series?
No, we still not.
All right, man.
We still not.
Sad, man.
Hey, when your man says he's the best player in the planet,
yeah,
he didn't want to sick him, man. I'm sorry, man. We seen him duck the smoke too many times, man. It's starting to become a habitual
So what if you win the
line.
championship this year?
Oh, congrats.
So trash.
Congrats. But I think you can get pushback from Lakers fans, Brooklyn fans, and everybody else team who didn't win. So just be prepared for that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just be prepared for that.
Take this victory and go about our life, man.
Hey, Kevin, when you see this, man, just know I salute, man. You did your thing, man. Brooklyn in 4 next season. That's all I gotta say. Alright, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Freshman Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and we're out.